A Microsoft document has confirmed that the Elder Scrolls 6 will skip the PlayStation 5 and only launch on Xbox.
What the world's gotten to, for people like me, people like you.
A lot of people are freaking tearing their hair out. It means that all future Bethesda titles, whether they are big mainline stuff, all of it is going to be Xbox and PC exclusive. I am mostly just flabbergasted by it. People saying that PlayStation is poop. This is a power move. Bethesda has upset a lot of people. Microsoft are liars for doing this.
You know, it's really frustrating to know I won't be able to spark up a blunt inside of this helmet. Where my country gone? Life is unfair, isn't it? The goddamn rich men of Redmond have screwed us over yet again. Those greedy corporate elitists dropped $70 billion on Bethesda and expect to take full advantage of their acquisition. How dare they? I don't work 2 damn jobs just so I have to buy an Xbox. It should all be solely on PlayStation, the working man's console, of course. Because, I mean, obviously, PlayStation users are entitled to everything Microsoft invests in their Xbox users. God dang nabbit, Xbox, you were supposed to go third party years ago. What happened? Why won't you just die? And to think all along, Starfield could have been a PlayStation 5 exclusive if you didn't come in with your big wallet. You know, it just continues to amaze me how journalists, gamers, and social media influencers are continuing to treat the exclusivity of Bethesda IPs for the Xbox as news. The fake outrage is exhausting, okay?
Integrity looks good.
So much better to be out of that musty-ass spacesuit. Anyways, like I was saying, when Final Fantasy 16 is made exclusive, there is no headline news. When Spider-Man is announced to be exclusive, there is no headline news. And inevitably, when the next Bungie game does become exclusive, there will be no media outrage. This video isn't for me to announce to the world that The Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be exclusive. Why? Because we all expected that. Hell, we all already knew it. But I mean, I guess if you wanted any more confirmation, here it is. A document released as part of the FTC versus Microsoft case confirms what was long expected. The Elder Scrolls 6 isn't going to launch for a few years, and it isn't coming to PlayStation. According to the new chart, which Microsoft produced for the FTC, the next Elder Scrolls game isn't expected to launch until at least 2026, something a Microsoft lawyer also mentioned in the court case. And much like Bethesda's most recent games, Starfield and Redfall, it'll be available on both PC and Xbox when it does launch. In a statement about exclusivity attached to the Elder Scrolls 6 section of the chart, which comes from an interview with Xbox head Phil Spencer and GQ, Spencer said, "In order to be on Xbox, I want us to be able to bring the full complete package of what we have. And that would be true when I think about Elder Scrolls 6.
Unless they have hostages, that's not news.
Well, there you go. If you doubted Philly cheesesteak Spencer before, you don't have to now. These are official court documents. It seems the plan going forward is to keep Bethesda Studios games exclusive to Xbox and PC. And from a business standpoint, why wouldn't they? Sony could clearly make a lot more money if they put Spider-Man on Xbox, right? But there's a reason they're not doing it. It's a long-term investment. You want people investing in your ecosystem more than the game itself. And based on the success of Starfield, it seems that new strategy is working out well for Microsoft. Seeing as how they paid a lot of money to have the PS5 version scrapped, what made you think they had plans for a PS5 version of the Elder Scrolls 6? Where did any of that wishful thinking come from? Don't get me wrong, in a fantasy land, it would have been amazing if Starfield was on everything, but knowing how these businesses operate, why did people think that was going to happen? On top of that, why are we crying about Microsoft getting killer apps we complained years about them not having? Everyone who told Microsoft it was a bad move to make Starfield exclusive seems to have failed in convincing Microsoft to stop doing that. Looks like they're doubling down, which is amazing to see, because if you've been tuning into this channel for about a year now, you saw the media backlash. Journalists, social media influencers, and especially the Sony ponies were not happy about hearing Starfield being taken away from PlayStation. So the campaign that was launched against Starfield to try and pressure Microsoft from not doing this for the next Bethesda game was quite amusing to watch. Because based on what I'm reading here, it had absolutely no effect. You guys failed. Everyone trying to convince Microsoft not to have exclusive content only ended up helping Microsoft make up their minds sooner.
Microsoft paid $7.5 billion to buy ZeniMax, so it's no big surprise that it would prioritize its own console platform.
You can't keep getting away with it! Gaming. You can't keep getting away with it!
Ah, yes, of course, GameSpot, the #1 brand in honesty, who for some reason couldn't stop spamming the same article claiming they gave Starfield a 7 out of 10. I mean, Jesus Christ. You guys spammed it at least 10 times every single day for about a week. And if you thought that was bad, you should have seen them spamming the articles about how Starfield was canceled for PS5. They couldn't stop spamming that one either.
Really makes you think.
But I can understand your frustration, GameSpot, after the numerous articles you wrote. Furious about this. It didn't work. They doubled down, and now ES6 will also be exclusive. So I'm expecting you to spam 7 out of 10s when that comes out. And what? They think 2026? Yeah, sure. No, that's coming out in 2030. Come on. Well, thank God. Hopefully that'll stop GameSpot from spamming articles questioning whether Starfield is coming to PlayStation or not. I think we all finally got our answer. So I swear to God, if I see another clickbait article from GameSpot, I'm gonna go out of my way to revive Gamergate. So don't push me.
Despite dancing around the subject as recently as June, an internal Microsoft document shows The Elder Scrolls 6 will skip the PlayStation 5 and will be exclusive to Xbox and PC.
Yeah, I smell another 7 out of 10 coming. Don't you just love how the media presses Phil Spencer so hard about this, but nobody ever questions Jim Ryan about what's gonna be exclusive or not? It's just so bizarre to me to ask the owners of the console in third place if they're gonna make something exclusive or not, just so you can hammer them on about it. Did we really need them to confirm it to us when we knew all along it would be? Well, you know how it is with IGN. They have to throw their worst critic at Starfield to give it a 7 out of 10. Dan Stapleton. You know, the same man that gave Duke Nukem Forever an 80.
You are fake news.
Whether you like Microsoft or not, you can't deny when it comes to them having exclusives, they are scrutinized to all hell for it.
Phil lied more with his hand on the Bible than at all of the E3 stages and interviews he has ever attended.
He strikes yet again! The pony we only get to see once in a blue moon, Nick Marcel, otherwise known as the Human Thumb. Now I understand, Nick, the idea of Microsoft having killer apps that people will go out of their way to buy a console for is very intimidating stuff. I know it's not enough for PlayStation to be #1 and have the most exclusives and the most highly rated games. That's not enough. Microsoft must be kept down, but Phil didn't really lie. Phil said it was on a case-to-case basis, and that is still true. They've honored pre-existing deals and have looked at what they're launching in the future and decided, maybe we won't put that on PlayStation. And if we're being real here, that's quite generous from this trillion-dollar company, who in all honesty could say, fuck PlayStation, they get absolutely nothing. PlayStation fans expecting Xbox to feed them is hilarious. They really think it's Microsoft's duty to keep them happy about their PS5 purchase.
I think ES6 skipping PlayStation is a big commercial mistake, but it should mean the game will release faster.
That's a good one. That's a fucking great. I'll release fast. Oh my god. Yeah, well, look at Starfield. It skipped PS6 and look how long it still took to come out. By the time we see Elder Scrolls 6, I guarantee you it's going to be a next-gen Xbox launch title. Now, as for whether it's a big commercial mistake or not, again, we gotta turn to Starfield. Top of the charts in box sales in the UK, which is a rarity for Microsoft. It was the #1 selling game on Steam for a short bit there, and over 6 million people playing, including 2 million purchases in early access. People were going to buy and play Starfield regardless of it being on PlayStation or not. Could you argue it would have been more successful had it also launched on PlayStation? Yeah, of course. But you could also argue that God of War would have been infinitely more successful if it was on Xbox, right? Oh wait, that's never a point brought up. It's only a bad idea if Xbox does it, because trying to create a successful game on their own platform is something we can only excuse Sony and Nintendo for doing.
Redfall launched as an Xbox exclusive, man. Starfield launched as an Xbox exclusive. I think it's pretty apparent this has more to do with somehow must include PlayStation in order to gain more traction, rather than a genuine discussion of whether or not ES6 will be exclusive to Xbox, huh?
Wrong, 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 wrong. It has to do with the fact that a lot of people actually legitimately thought Bethesda games would continue to launch on PlayStation. Reforged Gaming still thinks it will, and Demion still thinks it would, Colin Moriarty still thought it would.
Just to categorically declare for posterity, Starfield, The Elder Scrolls 6, and Fallout 5 will all be on PlayStation 5 at the same time they come to other platforms. Mark it!
It's too late now to delete it.
Oh god, Colin, if only you would have placed a bet on it. You should have put your podcast on the line. And if you would have lost, it would have been hilarious to see who you gave the show away to. See, it has nothing to do with needing PlayStation in the title for clout. The harsh reality is that a lot of PlayStation guys are salty because they didn't get to play Starfield and they won't be able to play The Elder Scrolls 6. And so many of them were so sure of themselves. Hell, most of them are still living in denial about it. Because the truth is, PlayStation gamers want what Xbox gamers have. And you can't deny it at this point.
So basically, PS5 players will have to get used to being left out, unless they get an Xbox too. I am not a big fan of this. I know there are also PlayStation exclusives, but still.
Shut your bitch ass up!
But still nothing. You know PlayStation exclusives exist and you don't seem to have a single problem with it. If you gotta go buy a PS5 to play Spider-Man, you're content with doing so. If you have to go buy an Xbox to play Elder Scrolls 6, it's a problem. Well, you don't even have to do that. You can go play it on PC, you dolt. Oh, the problem is PS5 users missing out. Okay, see, it's not a concern until the PS5 users are the ones left out. That is when we should all be concerned, I guess. You gotta be inclusive for the ponies. Heaven forbid something isn't made for them for once.
Now, this is a real ass move. Taking an existing multi-platform franchise and then making it permanently not timed exclusive is something I cannot get behind as a consumer. Starfield being exclusive is okay. New IP developed for Xbox. The Elder Scrolls, though? Blow me, Phil!
Well, I mean, I hate to break it to you, but this isn't the first time an Elder Scrolls game has been made exclusive for the Xbox console. I mean, there's a reason Morrowind isn't on PlayStation, arguably the best Elder Scrolls game. And if Xbox remade that, oh my god, the money. So, you really have no reason to be upset. This isn't the first time it's happened, and Microsoft and Bethesda have always worked together real close. It's amazing because this is a new argument that just sprung out of nowhere. Can't do that, Microsoft! This is an established IP! You're taking games away from us! Yeah, well, Elder Scrolls 6 was never on PlayStation, Starfield was never on PlayStation, and Fallout 5 was never technically on PlayStation, so nothing got taken away. Pre-existing Bethesda titles are still on PlayStation as the agreement was honored, but this is basically no different than when Metal Gear Solid 4 completely skipped out all other platforms except PlayStation. Exclusivity deals for intellectual properties have been thrown around since the beginning of time. Spider-Man 2 is right around the corner. Elder Scrolls 6 won't be seen until I have my firstborn child. And yet all the outrage is towards a game we won't see for a long ass time. That makes no sense to me. Just knowing Microsoft will have an exclusive in a few years has already gotten them salty. In all honesty, I wish exclusivity didn't exist because it creates this tribal mentality. If games existed on every single platform, at least 90% of the console wars would go away permanently. People would actually have to go touch grass, and that idea is quite frightening for them. But unfortunately, Microsoft is stuck where I am, addicted to the salt. They know telling the world Elder Scrolls 6 will be exclusive to just Xbox will draw them a lot of unnecessary heat. Just look at how Starfield was received once it was locked in as an exclusive. There really is no winning for Microsoft. They can have the exclusives, they'll get backlash. They don't have exclusives, they'll get backlash. Fortunately for them, they're a corporation. What they truly care about is money. And if there's money to be made doing this, then that's why they're doing it. So fuck all the jackasses and their crocodile tears. This news should not affect your enjoyment of Spider-Man 2. And yet I have a feeling that come launch day, even though Spider-Man is out, Starfield will still be what they are talking about. Anyways, I just want to thank gaming journalists for delivering me absolutely no news. Shouldn't be such a slow week with Spider-Man around, but I guess that's just how much more popular it is to talk about Microsoft. And based on how disappointing that State of Mid was, I can tell 2024 is also going to be another year spent talking about Microsoft. And if you want to be there for all of that salt, then you should consider liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing if you so choose to. That being said, I felt like being lazy, so I'm gonna get the hell out of here. I'll see you in the next one.
Fritongo sucks ass.